Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is a digital asset space. Good morning, guys. Wow, some crazy stuff. First of all, I want to tell you that I will be doing 2 streams today. Before I have to head out of town, I gotta head out. Got a business trip that I have to make, so I'm going to be doing an early morning stream. It'll probably be right about 11:15 or 11:30, and then I'm going to do another stream as well. So 2 live streams, probably, within 2 to 2.5 hours from each other. Some interesting stuff that I really want to cover. That's what I'll probably do. If not, it'll be an early stream, just one early stream, and then late Friday night another stream. So look for that. But in either case, the early one, 11:15, 11:30 this morning, I'll be doing that. But guys, I was in the Patreon. I'm a part of Darren Moore's, XRP Darren's Patreon group. Love it, great stuff there. And I came across the video with Susan, Anthony, and the Korean guy. I forgot his name now. Gosh, I can't pronounce his name right. But the one guy there on the far right of that video was talking about, essentially what happened with the internet, and how it was one thing, and then it was eventually a bunch of different places, different kind of silo type networks, and then they began to make it all one and build upon it, right? And so, shout out to Darren Moore for being able to get that. It's great to be part of that Patreon group. It's great to be able to give back to the community. So I love being able to be part of that. So he's one of the 4 or 5 that I'm part of, and excited about that. So I this question has kind of been going around a little bit. Now just understand with that, and I'm going to share that with you guys later today. Just understand that that video is essentially saying, look, if there is a way to have a private, right, when you say private innovation, but underneath is, kind of this public or oversight or foundational thing, what they're essentially saying is the governments don't create stuff, they adopt stuff, right? And so if the private sector can bring about this new technology, we can underlie it with, securities and safeguards in place, because that's kind of what we do, right? That's kind of what the US of A especially kind of do, right, with regulators and the such. But that whole interview, that whole process, that they were really talking about the fact that the blockchain technology, what Bitcoin did, was awesome, but it still has flaws, and we've come across something that's better, just like we did with the internet. When they came up with the HTTP and the TCP, it made it better. Let's put everything onto one platform where everybody can go to that same thing, right? But the internet wasn't discovered by the government, right? It was one dude or 2 dudes, right? There's an argument who really actually discovered it, right? And so that was private innovation, and that's the same thing that's going to take place, that has taken place with Ripple, obviously. But and by the way, I'm going to share something with you today at 11:15, 11:30, that is also about this whole idea of a one world reserve currency has been thought about since 2009, 2008, 2009. This, and this idea that China, a lot of people think China wanting to move away from the US dollar is a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's been around, thought of for years, right? So over a decade now. It's not a new thing. I'm gonna turn you on to something today on the live stream that will confirm that. Okay, so this is not a new thing. The FSOC, right? And Lael Brainerd talking about how the FSOC has the power, control, and the ability to step in and say, okay, this is what we're doing and this is how we're moving forward, is important, because she essentially let mainstream media know, which will in turn let the masses know, that they've been thinking about how they can just step in and adopt the XRP ledger, right? Because here's the thing, they can't just say it Like, they can't just do it and not tell us, not prepare us, right? All right, because the code or the message behind what she's saying is, in my opinion, okay, we all have our bags full. This is me. We all have our bags full. This is what I'm believing they're saying. We got some extra people been getting it for a while because we all know that they have known about this for a long time. Right, so they can't say, well, we got our bags full, we're going to use the XRP ledger, we know that they burn rate, we know the value is going to be high, okay, here it is, right? So they have to prepare us, right? They got to prepare us, and they have to come up with a way, right? That's what they do. They come up with a way that makes sense, that doesn't cause this outrage, that doesn't call people leaving their homes and rioting in the streets, right? That's their greatest fear. Is people leaving their homes and going out and rioting in the streets. They don't want that. So they gently give little breadcrumbs, and they gently give little breadcrumbs, and they gently give little breadcrumbs. And so this systemic issue that Leo Brannett was using as a way to step in. It's like, okay, we don't want a bunch of private networks. We don't want these all kind of everywhere, every kind of type of thing. Let's have one standard, one uniform thing that the nations can use, right? That all the nations can use. And so when you think about the largest economies of the world, you know, that G20 meeting had meaning, right? They have to come together and do something. But this is not the first time they've thought about this. And I'll cover that in the video, and I'll show you proof of the fact that this is not the first time that they thought about this. They've known, they've been, the move to a one reserve currency, the move to have a standard ledger and a standard protocol, all of these things have been thought about for at least, well, I wouldn't say at least a decade, but it has been thought about since 2008 and 2009, right? It's just, when can we implement it? When will it make sense? When can we announce this where it will not cause people leaving their warm, comfy home and going out and rioting on the streets? And now it's becoming more and more evident that now is that time. So we can expect to hear a lot of things in 2020, 2021, and kind of like almost a final implementation in 2022, which is why they have ISO 20022, as a matter of fact, right? So it all kind of makes sense, guys. So guys, listen, stay tuned. 11:15, 11:30. I want to knock out that live stream because we're going to be getting on the road around 3:30. So I want to knock out, make sure I get a live stream with you guys, and then hopefully maybe do a late Friday night hangout if that's what I have to do from out of town, and see if that, you know, hopefully the Wi-Fi stuff is working great. So guys, stay excited, continue to strengthen your resolve. 2020 is going to be an exciting time for the digital asset space, absolutely. But never ever forget that Ripple titled that title, it was 2020, the year of the digital asset, and I think they did that for a reason. I think that was a code to let us know. And never ever forget Ashish Burler's little part when they did that little short videos. When they did the videos, they did the two videos, the 12-minute one, then they did the short one. Remember how he looked into the camera when he said, right? Because they were kind of looking at each other, looking in the camera, looking at each other, looking in the camera. So when Ashish Burler came up, he said his part, he said, we know this is happening. We know it's going to happen. We absolutely know this is happening. We know it. So you got to get that. But then he looked into the camera and said, it's just going to take a little bit longer than we thought. Right? So those body language is everything. So they know it's going to happen. It may take a little bit longer to have it happen, but it is going to happen. Doesn't mean that the traditional bull run is not going to happen. The traditional bull run is in fact going to happen. But remember, understand, Ripple is trying to completely change this whole new financial system. So that's the thing that's going to take time. Not a rise in the price of XRP. Okay, just rely on the traditional market for that to happen, in my my humble opinion. Sorry, guys. Listen, I'm going to wrap this video up like I do all my videos and remind you of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. That the battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.